Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing Timbre EDP by Chris Rusak. This was released in 2019, and the nose behind the fragrance is Chris Rusak. It's an indie artisanal brand. So, off the top I get an incredibly earthy blast of yuzu and mandarin. This earthy citrus pairs very well with the oud and the myrrh that helps give this a little bit of a rustic feeling, and that rustic feeling is something that you're going to feel throughout the rest of the fragrance. The best way I can describe this fragrance is it smells like you're harvesting fruit or harvesting, crops from fragrantly beautiful soil. The oud here isn't overpowering, but it still gives the fragrance a bit of a soft edge. So it's not, you're not being blasted with skanky oud. It's very reined in, at least in the opening. Honestly, I don't get too much as myrrh, but together with the oud, it does give the opening a very nice balsamic vibe. And that's something that's very much appreciated. I like balsamic fragrances. I like the vibe here. Towards the end of the opening, you get a good dose of galbanum, which comes into play, which gives the fragrance a little bit of a bitter green feel, bitter green opening. It's nice and it's very welcome. I normally am hit or miss with bitter green openings, but with the oud and the yuzu and mandarin, it really all works together to create an experience. This is truly a work of art. I do really enjoy the album, like I said. Towards the end of the opening, it comes off effervescent and fizzy, which is really nice. I really enjoyed that little pop you get there. So, in the mid, I get a lot of petitgrain and cedar. It's almost like freshly cut cedar. So think of, being in the forest, chopping cedar. Now, I don't chop trees, but if you do chop trees, you'll know what I'm talking about. So it smells like what I feel like freshly cut cedar would smell like, so an accord. The galbanum is still prominent here, and with this trio of notes, the petitgrain, cedar, and galbanum, this transitions from an earthy citrus to just a green stunner of a fragrance. It's extremely complex, yet still wearable. In the mid, this does turn a bit dense, but not overly so it retains a fresh quality. Now, this is where the fragrance just, it's super, it's still wearable. It remains wearable, but it just goes to the moon. So in the base, I pick up on metallic notes, and with a little bit of a smoky vibe. I believe the smoke is coming from the oud, and it definitely reinforces the aspect of freshly cut wood that I mentioned in the mid. Now, this is what caught me off guard, is there's almost a sweetness that I pick up. So as I'm, catching walls, as I'm, up to my arm, smelling the fragrance, I get sweetness. So what is this from? I'm not exactly sure, but I'll take it. When the fragrance gets closer to the end, so we're looking at 7, 8 plus hours, it gets even smokier. And I believe this is coming from the oud. It doesn't get skanky, but it's definitely inaccessible, to beginner noses. At least I feel like it would be. There's a slight, not barnyardy, but it's very potently smoky, and the far dry down. So I understand how that'd be off-putting to people, but I like it. I think it's great. Would I wear it in the summer? No. Which sort of takes this fragrance out of the the summer ballpark into it's more of an autumn fragrance to me, but you can wear it in spring or autumn well. I mean, you can wear any fragrance in any season. But I think this would work best in spring and autumn because of that dry down. But if I had to pick, a term to describe the base, it's enveloping. It is completely enveloping and in the best way possible. It's really shocking. Generally, so in conclusion, I think this fragrance is a masterpiece. It definitely took some time for me to love it. When I got the sample in almost a month ago now. I first smelled it. It's my favorite of the, I got a sample pack. It's the best of the 5 that I tried. At least as of now, that's how I feel. But I still wasn't in love with it. It was lingering around an 8, an 8 at best. But obviously, that got better. So it took some time for me to love it, but I'm happy I spent the necessary time with it so it could develop into something truly special for me. There are other fragrances that do the whole in a forest idea well, but this does have a different approach to it with generally less smoke and more of an old growth and woody vibe. So I talk about it all the time. Norin by Slumber House is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. I think it's the pinnacle of coniferous fragrances. That is much smokier than this. So if I'm comparing the two, if I smell Norin, I'm getting just pure green smoke, coniferous smoke, whereas this is more gentle almost in the beginning and mid, and opening and mid. It's almost gentle. I think the earthy bitterness of the top and the mid, as well as the sweetness in the base, really make this feel like a complete experience. So you're going from an earthy bitterness, something like a soil earthy bitterness, to, you know, something a little more subdued, and then you're getting hit with sweetness, and then you're getting hit with the smokiness in the base. It's really interesting. My usefulness for this fragrance is an 8 out of 10. Is it the most wearable thing in the world? No. Is it wearable though? Yes. So I would wear this in Florida. I would wear this in spring and summer. I don't think I would touch it in the winter, and I don't think I'd really touch it in the summer as well. In the winter, there's just other things I wear in the winter, really. The opening, I don't really know how that would fare well. I mean, I need to try it in the winter. But in the spring, like right now, March 10th, it's great. In the fall, it would be amazing. In the summer, I think the base would be a little too dense for, you know, 90 plus weather. So my usefulness is an 8. My rating for this is a 9 out of 10. I think this fragrance is incredible. It's a great experience, and Chris Rusak really, really knocked it out of the park with this one. This is an artisanal gem that you should all try. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Bye.